Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. So hello, everyone. We are recording this session so everyone could see later, whoever could make it. So we're going to be talking about investing in multifamilies, about current market, about various ways of investing. We'll go over a lot of stuff. So let's get going. So a little bit about who we are. So I am, we are a number of companies under one umbrella. So I represent Sunrise Real Estate Realty and Investment and Sunrise Development. So we do development, we build condominiums in East Boston, Riviera, Winthrop. So I'm a real estate broker who is specializing in cash flow and investment properties. I'm advising for financial independence. This is my favorite subject. I do property management with specialty in an Airbnb and short-term rentals, monthly rentals. And we also run short-term investment programs with a very competitive rate. And my partner, Albert Legui, he owns a company, Legui Construction. So we have a construction company in-house, which we do real estate development. We do some work occasionally for clients. He does general contracting. He's a commissioner in local towns, so he's a pro in permitting and code compliance and all type of inspections. So we have a lot of services and activities under our umbrella. My story, I was in software engineering for a long time. Stopped 10 years ago because it was I really wanted my business. I wanted to create my financial freedom. I wanted to work with something tangible, and real estate was that. So it was humps and bumps. Wasn't smooth, but I think in this road I learned a lot, and I learned enough to bring you up to speed and tell you, keep you in the know of what's going on. I do my absolutely best job in that. All right, so let's talk. I felt the need that we talk a little bit about historical role of real estate and land, because it's just a really, real estate was always really big part of the human life. So something about land and houses lies deeper in our human psyche. So we see house drawings from the caves progressing to the drawings of condominiums. In the Middle Ages, property ownership was a symbol of wealth and was one of the primary ways of the wealthy to ensure their assets, which is right now as well. As an established industry, real estate came with European colonies to the United States. And then we know that America was founded by people coming here for land. So we can see the land rush with the horses. The land rush is a famous land rush in Oklahoma. All the immigrants, Irish, people from England, Germany, all over Europe coming to the New World for the land. Mixed with opportunities of the New World and the foundation of the free market system, the seeds were planted for American entrepreneurs to turn the industry into a money-making machine. Investing in real estate has become tried and true throughout the history, and now it's time for us to find the real estate success. So something just to note, like as a children, this is one of the first activities we do. We're building sandcastles. So it's so important for us always being the housing. Maybe much more than we even understand that. And another note I noticed recently that whole spiritual concepts of South America, Pachamama, is built on a land. So this is one of the main spiritual values in South America. So needless to say, real estate plays a huge role in our life and in our wealth. And this is how it's been through the history. So key reasons to invest in real estate. So it's a very reliable investment, especially in Boston. It gives the cash flow, which grows with the time. Loans gets paid down by the renters, and by this, we're building equity and wealth. we use market appreciation and rent rises. We have a pride of ownership. It provides short-term investment possibility with much higher rates, cash rates. It creates portfolio diversification. There are real estate investment trusts, which allows you to invest in real estate without really buying something by yourself, be just a part of the group of investors. And we'll talk a little bit about it later. It's an inflation hedge because with inflation, the rent is grows and the prices are growing of the housing. So you beat inflation this way. It's an outstanding retirement income, and it creates the inheritance value. So you pass it to your children and grandchildren. It creates enormous tax benefits, and yeah, and there is various ways to indirect invest in real estate. If we can look on a chart, you know how we always say, oh, it was in the past, why didn't we buy, you know, like it's Boston was 10 years ago, it was like 200,000 a multifamily, and now it's 1.2 million. So, but it never stops, it continues. So if you're looking on the chart from 1965 to now, it's going up always. So it doesn't matter what time you come in, you're gonna reap the benefit of growing. Yes, we didn't come in 10 years ago, but we're coming it now. So we will get the same benefits as if, you know, compared to 10 years ago. So it's important to remember that it's never bad time because it continuously grows. It always grows. Okay, so let's address elephant in the room. What's happening right now? So our inflation and our high rates. So this part is from presentation of Barry Habib. He's a mortgage and financial speaker. I have his presentation on my wall. I highly suggest you to look in depth if you want more information about it. I will go quickly. This couple of his slides, but you're very welcome to look more on my wall and what he explains, which makes a lot of sense and I think give a very good state of mind for us. So basically, we have a high inflation and now we have a high rates. And in general, mortgage rates are following inflation. So mortgage rates will go down when inflation going to come down. So if we look on the past couple of years, so if you're looking before, so they were coming kind of hand in hand together. Then what was happening that inflation started to pick up, but rates kept staying because feds were stimulating the government was stimulating the economy.
Where are you going? Where are you stealing?
What is it? Sorry, can you mute yourself, guys? So they were going hand in hand, but then what was happening? Inflation started to pick up in January 2021, but because it was a lot of money pumped into economy, but rates keep staying steady. So basically, feds were late with taking the rates up at the time, and this is what's happening right now. We're catching up because this is now when inflation is so high, then there are so steep hikes in the rates. So we're basically catching up after this huge stimulus and the Feds being reluctant to drive rates up and keeping them very low in the past year. Let's talk briefly, why is a big opportunity now? I actually would rather return to the slide a little bit later. I'm sorry, I was preparing last moment due to my 5 closings. So let's look so what's happening in the home values during recession. So interesting. So he was talking about 2008 and basically. So what was happening in 2008? Let's discuss first that, because this is what everybody say. What if it's right now 2008? Basically, historically, historically, home prices is not falling during recession. But what happened in 2008? And interestingly enough, if we're looking on our first chart, we see that the enormous amount of housing was produced in 2005 and 2006, but the buying capacity significantly dropped in these years. And the way he explains it, it's very interesting because it's caused because of the demographics. Because what was happened is in 1973, the abortion became legal. And by that, it's just a fact. And by that, birth rate dropped. This is just a history moment. So what happened is that this 33 years after, which is exactly landed in 2007, 2008, there was not enough buyers compared to regular birth rates compared to the people of the same age. So we could see that the number of buyers just significantly dropped, and a lot of houses were in the market. And this is what caused boom, all this bubble burst at the time. So since then, things are normalized, and we are now into the people who buying right now are the millennials. So this is the people who were born in 80s and 90s. And since then, the birth rate grew significantly. So we are in a situation, and still in a situation, and will be for a while in a situation that demand for the housing is higher than the inventory. So we are in no way in the same situation than 2008. So little bit about media. So right now it's a lot of talks, and I hear it in every forum and every webinar that I'm listening from real estate perspective. So there is a lot of talks about, oh, it's gonna crash. It's gonna crash. And somebody mentioned that he was on a plane and he said that he's in a real estate, and people were saying, oh, I am sorry. So it's like a full perception that we are in a really bad situation, but this is what media sells to us. And here is example of basically year after year, what media was saying. So like 2015, housing today, bubble is larger than 2006. What happens in 2015? We had appreciation of 5.1%. Then in 2016, this is CNBC, we are in a new housing bubble, and yet it's appreciated again in 5.4. November 17, home ownership doesn't build wealth, study finds. And yet we are in 6.1% appreciation that year. Then in 2018, they say it's better to rent than to buy in today's housing market. And appreciation grew in 4.1%. Then July 2019, the housing market is about to shift in a bad way for buyers. And what's the result? Appreciation 4%. And you can see the numbers, how much, for example, house of 300K grew each year. Then December 19, they say next year will be hard on housing market, especially in these big cities. And what we have, appreciation of 16%. July 2021, housing boom is over as new home sales fall to pandemic low. What do we see? Appreciation of 18%. So, you know, all this talks about me. So media sells fear, we know that. And really, we could be really smart not to listen to that, make our own judgment, look on the history, on the numbers, and not to fall for it. So here is existing home inventory chart. So you could see, compared to previous years, we are in an all-time low. So we are no position to think that there is a crash, because we still on a very low inventory and there is not enough housing. Then in other headlines, dramatic increase, foreclosures filling up more than 150%. Foreclosures are on the rise, yes, but that's because we didn't foreclose for 2 years. We had the eviction moratorium and a foreclosure moratorium. So nothing was really foreclosing for 2 years. So now we really see the foreclosures for the past 3 years. This is why it's on the rise. But it's absolutely normal and no more than any previous years. It's just a combination of the 3 years what we see right now. And then also here is a normal cycle of the inventory. within the year. And the way Barry explains it, basically, as we all know, the spring market is very hot and a lot of inventory goes. Fall market is slow and everything slows down. So, and why? Because all we know, to move to new school is difficult, and all the parents want their kids to move in September, because if they move in the middle of the year, they're going to be bullied. So everybody looking for new housing in March, April, May. This is when the inventory goes low, and then it goes high in the fall. And this is what we see right now. Inventory now is high because it's a fall. Become spring, the market going to activate, it's going to be low. So this is the normal cycle of the year. And this is what we could see on this chart. So, let's talk a little bit this is from the source of Kiplinger. What is to be in a net worth? So there are net worth tiers. So, and your net worth is your assets, how much your assets worth, minus or anything you owe really, minus your liability, your debts. So top 1% in the United States, it's 10.8 million. Top 2% is 2.5 million. Top 5%, very exclusive group, is 1 million. And top 10% is 1.8 million, and top 50% is only 500,000. But on average, 2/3 of our net worth is come from home equity. This is why it's so important to keep purchasing the houses and keep them as investment property, because this is where it's actually bring us to this higher net worth tier. That's the only way really to get there, because this is the bulk of our net worth, the equity in our homes and investment properties. And here is an example how appreciation works and how really our wealth is being, how wealth is growing with appreciation. So let's say, for example, for 100 purchase price with 10% down payment, 40% investment, with a 4, and this is for home occupant property. So with 4% appreciation, you get 16,000 profit a year. 16,000 profit on 40,000 of investment is 40% return. And this is absolutely not bad, right? Okay, so let me go back on what's the big opportunity now. So the big opportunity now is really that you can negotiate better price. So, and what happens right now, and I see it a lot because I buy and I sell, everybody scared, everybody afraid, and sellers afraid too. So in all this wave of the fear, it's really easy to negotiate better price because sellers are eager to sell. And I just sold my own multifamily less than I wanted because I didn't want to wait. I didn't know what's going to happen. So I went myself with a lower price than I wanted, just because I didn't want to drag it for a long time. So I know on myself as a seller, and I see when I buying houses right now or sell my own condos. So you can actually find your outstanding property and use discounted rate. So now another thing that sellers are very agreeable is to do the seller rate buy down. This is when the seller buy new rate for let's say for 5%. And by the way, you can get homeowner occupied 5% rent still in a local credit union banks. But you can get 1 or 2%, I think even 2%, a rate buy down for 2 years from seller, and then refinance it in a year and even get a refund of the second year rate buy down. So now you can purchase your outstanding property with a discounted rate and refinance it later. So when the next year rate will be 5% and real estate inventory low, so guess what's going to happen with the home values? They will go up. So you have to be smart now and see the future because it becomes obvious. We have to look beyond headlines. So most of people look on a rear window and what is right in front of them. If you see into the future, you will see lower rates and higher home prices. So it's a very transitory time now, very unique. And it's a really, really great opportunity to look on a property because we were overpaying only in March. I was going to open houses and I could see the line that turns behind the around the corner. So I would just drive by. And now you can actually come and get and drop the price. So this is really, really tremendous opportunity. Every experienced investor is accelerating their buying. So it's never perfect in investing environment. We know that the rates are high, but it's never perfect investing environment. It's all about adjusting your strategy. And strategy now should be invest in multifamily this way that you create some cash flow and identify a great deal. Then macroeconomics environment doesn't really matter. And if you identify a great deal now that bring you cash flow now, when you refinance to 5% or maybe lower in 2 years, your deal gonna be even greater and your cash flow gonna be even higher. So if you manage to find a deal now in this environment with these high rates, you're definitely gonna get way, way better in a couple of years. So again, real estate is the best form of gaining wealth over a long term. Best way to build financial freedom. I'm not tired to tell it all over again. So let's talk about duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes as a greatest way to find financial freedom. So a little bit about financial freedom. So it means different things for different people, but it boils down to be able to do in life things you want. For somebody travel, for somebody open their business, for somebody follow their hobbies, be available to kids, following your dreams, etc. So if you care about it, you will get there. A lot of people from all the path of life achieving this. So real estate works when you work it. You start it and there is almost no other way around. You're gonna continue doing it and we will see the ways of doing it. It's not a get rich, it is not a get rich quick theme, but financial success is simpler than you think and anyone can do this. So it doesn't take that many multifamily properties to achieve financial freedom. You just need to find the right one. And why small multifamilies? They're producing very nice cash flow. You can still use residential financing, which in many cases is better than commercial, even though now commercial is actually giving the better rates. But in a regular environment, residential is better rates, and actually it's a little bit easier to finance residential financing right now than commercial, because they take into account also people's income, and commercial only the rents. So I'm finding that's now is a better option despite the higher rates. It's bringing you less competition because a lot of big companies, big investment companies are focusing on the big buildings. So multifamilies are left to the small investors, us. And the house hacking is possible. House hacking is the great way. Yes, thank you. I will. So house hacking is when you live in one of the units and you rent the others. This way you can benefit of buying your house with FHA or with home finance, with low down payment financing. FHA is only 5% down or 10% regular banks with a great owner-occupant rate, etc. So where can you find the good deals for those properties? MLS or the agent. And I'm going to help you. I know about everything about them. Can you guys please mute your phone? Somebody? There are off-market properties. There are some posts in the Craigslist and Facebook. There is an amazing forum, Bigger Pockets, that I'm listening to their presentations all the time, and they also publishing a lot. So what is the best way to finance duplexes, triplexes, or fourplexes? FHA is great if you buy it as owner-occupant and reside in one of them. Conventional mortgages, partnerships, we're going to talk about it soon. Seller financing. Just to note, I'm finding actually in this current environment is a lot of sellers offering this type of financing. it just happened to me. I was looking, I was trying to purchase a two-family in the past 2 weeks, and I had a hard time to finance it. So because I'm doing 1031 exchange and I have to use only commercial loans, and commercial loans are not taking into account the income, only rents, and rents are, when you put together interest and rents, it's very hard to get to finance. So they want 30% down and not 25% down. So I had a difficulty with this. While one of the properties that I was looking at, the brokers called me and said, you know what, my seller actually offering you, if you like, 5% seller financing, which is like amazing rate, because he had his house mortgage free and he couldn't sell it now because of all this rate situation. So they brainstormed and they figured out that would be solution. And I said, hell yes. I sent my offer within 5 minutes. It was accepted and it was amazing deal. It is amazing deal. I'm hoping everything goes through, but I just got 25% down seller financing with 5%. So there are deals like this right now in the market, and sellers actually ready to finance. Just a second, I'll switch my heat. So so another way is BRRRR investing, and we're gonna talk about it in a minute. So what's the dangers to watch out and how to overcome the risks? So condition and location is very important. So property condition and location is influence your cash flow. Do your math, and I will definitely help you with that. So not if it's multifamily, it doesn't mean it's profitable. So multifamily require management. So be prepared to that, or prepare to hire property manager to help you with that. And then the fear, that's the big one. So fear can cause you to never start and causing you to miss out on the greatest gift life has in store for you. This one is really big one. Let's talk about BRRRR strategy. This is very known strategy. So once you buy multifamily, or any other building, as a matter of fact, you do some rehab, or you just grow your rents and wait for a little bit. You rent, and after some time you refinance, pull the cash, and purchase the next multifamily. So you should be able to do such a round every 3-4 years. So by your retirements, you should have number of properties, in your sleeve. So I want to show you a couple of my own investment projects. And some of you know, I showed it in a previous presentation. So this is a two-family building in Allston that I purchased in 2009, had a very little cash flow, rented it for 7 years, hated the guts of it because at the time I didn't understand the benefits and why am I working too much for rentals. It didn't bring much cash flow, but so the purchase price was $740. The monthly rent was $6,500. We sold it in 1.1 million, and this is where I saw the huge benefit. So we gained 385,000 the profit. So monthly income was 2,000, but it was 3 people, so it wasn't that much for my work. But prior to that, in 2015, we pulled 150K out of it as an equity line and purchased the next property. This is 3-family in Chelsea, which we purchased in 2017. We purchased it for $630. We put down payment 158K. The monthly rent was 6,000. The monthly profit was 2,300. The 22 market value was 950. It grew nicely. I just sold it. I'm about to close next week. I closed it for 900 because I didn't want to wait, and I wanted to reap the benefit of other properties that are low on the market. So I decided I'll sell it lower now, but this will give me opportunity to buy another 2 properties. I I have the equity plus down payment of 500K out of this building. So the reason I did it because I figured out that with a normal rent that I have here for 2,300, that's my monthly profit right now. But if I split it into two families and I rent my short-term rentals, I will be able to have 4,000 from each property. So my income gonna be 8,000 a month instead of 2,300 a month. So that's why I sold it now, and I am I'm doing 1031 exchange. I'm buying that property that I just told you that being seller financed for me, and I will be looking for another one, some other beautiful deal. And my goal is to have 8K profit by the end of this exercise. So what is important is also to look at your portfolio, and even if you have right now investment property, to see how much it brings to you and see is it best optimized, and maybe for the equity that you have in a house, and I had equity of 500 in the house, so I figured for my equity of 500, monthly profit of 2,300 is too little. I could do much better with this equity. So, and I'll help you to look at it if you talk to me, because it all boils down to how much equity you have and what's cash flow you can have on it. And this is what brings you closer to your financial freedom. So another example of my properties, it's just a simple condo investment in Boston. And I bought it in 4,075 three years ago. So my mortgage with tax and insurance is 2,000, and I am running Airbnb because Airbnb is very, very popular and very nice in Boston, close Boston areas. So I get it in winter 4,000 and summer 6,000. So beautiful profit on this little condo. And believe it or not, there are so many condo deals right now on the market in Boston. So that option is actually also possible right now, and the prices are low for condos. So quickly going about Boston market, and you probably heard it in my previous presentation, so I'll just go quickly. The home prices in Boston area are going always one direction up. This is one of the stablest markets in the country. It has the broad scope of industries that are able to withstand economic events much better than other markets. So Boston real estate market is extremely competitive because there is no enough homes to sell to keep up with the demand, and it's still true. In addition to tech sector, pillars of Boston economy are financial services, education, healthcare, biotech, pharma, hospitals, and insurance companies. So mixing a growing population of young professionals who are entering prime home age, and flock of universities, medical institutions, the nurses right now, and large employers aren't going anywhere. Boston housing market is sent in a good direction. So multifamily market is stable in Boston, is very much growing. Millennials prefer Boston central areas, and tourism supports Airbnb industry. And remember how in COVID, everybody was saying, oh, cities are doomed, nobody gonna be there. And the young people are still buying like crazy. And, you know, a lot of people who went to suburbs actually coming back because everything is happening in Boston. Okay, so let's talk about different ways of how you can buy multifamily. And this is it occurred to me that like a lot of people have missing some components to so somebody have a good salary but doesn't have some down payment. Somebody have money in the bank but doesn't have a good credit or salary. Somebody have time but don't have neither good job or neither down payment. So basically, many of us have different instruments, but not all together. So somebody have down payment, money in down payment. Somebody have good jobs. Somebody have time, and somebody have a drive and desire to run multifamilies. So as any other partnership, you can create partnership. So, and this is actually what we done. actually all three of my previous investment property, we bought on a partnership. This is, we got together, put our down payment together and got the multifamily. So this is the partnerships are perfect ways to get multifamily together. So somebody put down payment, somebody take the mortgage, and somebody contribute their time, and you put operating agreement together, and there you specify that the person who put the money, you know, when they're gonna be split later, you're gonna get that amount, but then the equity of the whatever the multifamily grew will be split 3, 4, 5 folds between all the partners. So that's a great way to finance the property. And I was even thinking maybe we will create some type of meetups where people who like to invest could come together and we can talk, and maybe we can create such a groups if people like, some people have everything for having multifamily and some not. So maybe we can talk and this way create a group for the multifamily investment. So I wanted to give you some examples. So let's say you have equity in your house, and many people are liking that the houses are getting paid off and they have equity. But for example, let's say you're purchasing multifamily, 3-family. Right now in Everett, Riviera, Winthrop market, the purchase price would be about $900K. Their prices are still good. So you taking down payment of 25%, which would be $225 from your equity line with a average mortgage interest of 6%. So you get with a monthly furnished rental, not even Airbnb, but just monthly furnished rental of 3 units, close to 12,000, because the monthly rentals are furnished rentals with utilities around 4,000 a unit. So your mortgage payment gonna be $4K. Your monthly expenses of tax, insurance, utilities, repairs, and equity line would be $3K. Your monthly income gonna be $5,000. So by not putting anything down and just using your existing equity line, you can have a monthly income of $5,000. After 5 years, your return on investment, which includes the income, monthly income, and appreciation, will be $591,000. So this is not bad, right? For the no putting money down multifamily investment. So let's see if you have a cash for down payment. Let's say you do have a $225K in the bank. So in this situation, your monthly income gonna be $6,000, and your 5 years return on investment gonna be $6,058,000. $6,058,000, yes. Let's see if you take FHA loan with down for the same multifamily with a sound down payment of 5%, putting down $45,000 only. So let's say with all this the same conditions, plus your monthly expenses will include PMI. Your monthly income will be $4.5K, and your 5 years return on investment is $570,000. So that's the numbers you can get on your 5 years return on investment. So ways to grow property value. You can rehab, you can add more units, and Elle will talk a little bit more about it. We're constantly doing that. You can rent by room to the group of renters, very popular in Boston. You can do short-term rentals. You can do rooming houses or bed and breakfast. You can add parking. Some properties have lawns, you know, the front yards, which you can add actually parking on. And you can create accessory structures, which technically adding the unit. And some towns now, especially Riviera, has the ordinance of doing that. And this is a great, and there are lots of illegal apartments in Riviera right now that you can buy them. You can buy the single family with a legal apartment, approve it and permit it as accessory structure, and technically receive a legal 2-family, which is an amazing growth of the value. So my favorite areas are Revere, Everett, Chelsea, East Boston, Winthrop, and Malden, because they are very close to the city. They are all within 15, 20 minutes drive. They all have public transportation, and they developing very, very, very quickly. So developments in the area, FBI in Chelsea, Chelsea Hotels, Casino in Everett, Suffolk Down is gonna be finished in a year and a half in Revere, which bringing thousands of new jobs in Revere. Revere beachfront properties are growing like a mushrooms after rain. Winthrop Center Business District is being built right now. Malden Center Residential Business Development. And of course, East Boston Condo Development. So let's talk a little bit of who rents for short-term rentals and why it's so popular in Boston. First of all, travel nurses, many of them. Travel professionals, people who relocating, professionals who prefer no commitment housing, flight attendants, people who sold their properties and in a search of new one, divorced or separated people. As a matter of fact, just 5 minutes before the presentation, I had a family who sold their house in Winthrop, and they contacted me to rent one of my properties for 4.5 thousand for 4 months. It's incredible. I think it's an amazing income. And the best part about short-term rentals that who they always pay. There is no squatters. They really come. They come temporary. They're traveling. They're professionals, and there is really least to none problems with this type of renters. And the cash flow is beautiful, really much higher than the regular one. So how to fund investment property? As I said, the equity line is a great tool to do that. Savings, buy as owner, occupant, and rent other units, buy as a secondary residence, partner with other investors, we talked about it, borrow from parents' retirement funds, or you can also do self-managed IRA and take money of your IRA and put it as down payment to your property. The downside of it that you cannot use the cash flow right now. It's going to go towards your retirement, but nevertheless, it's an amazing wealth growing tool. And take a private loan from friends and family. That's another way that I utilize a lot too. You take in loan and you put it as a second mortgage on your property. You get it as a down payment and you pay monthly interest to your friend. And after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you refinance, you return them their money. And then you already have your property to yourself, and property grew significantly. So that's another beautiful way of starting if you don't have a down payment. Little bit about our short-term real estate investment program. So as a development company, we run investment programs. We take investors for our construction projects. We give very competitive interest, it's 15% interest yearly. So the investors, you come in with us into our partnership. You don't have any liability, but you're co-owning with us, and you have more rights. Basically, the way it's spelled in operating agreement is that you come before us on if property being sold. So, and you secured under the property of the project. So for example, if you have 200,000 for 1 year, your yearly interest gonna be 24,000. With the tax, and we're taxing it as a long-term capital gain, you're gonna have 20,400 as an income after tax. We have many investors. For example, for 100K for 1 year, you get 10,200 income after tax. So very nice one family vacation, or couple family vacation in case of 200. So another, we're building right now, there are Condo Opportunity Condo Opportunity in Winthrop. We're building beautiful with rooftop decks, 6 units condos. If you're interested, very welcome to visit us to see what we're doing. We're also starting new condos in East Boston in spring. This would be 7-unit with parking, beautiful, beautiful, eco-friendly with rooftop decks building, which is 5 minutes to the train. So, what a little bit more about what are we doing? So I've been in real estate for 10 years, full time, very, very active. L been doing it since he's 13. So we are very good in a creative solution to achieve financial independence. I reach out and we will sit and look at your particular case together, and I can assure you we will find a very good solution how to get you cash flow in the quickest way possible. So as a broker, I'm specializing in a cash flow multifamily investment. We do quick home inspection. Elle is inspector, so we can give you quick feedback on a building. And he really knows very well. Sometimes we walk into the property and seems okay to me. He says, no, we turn around. Like he can sniff, you know, we just come into the property, he can sniff that it's no-go. So I very much trust his opinion. We have a direct contact with the local city officials in many towns and cities. We give you renovation help and advice. I will help you with a monthly rental setup. I will set you up for your first rentals, and if you need me to help later, I will, but I think you're totally capable to do it yourself. I can help you with property management, and it's free for you. The commission's coming from the seller, so why not, right? So successful people don't procrastinate. This is the most important headline here. Don't wait. Don't lose the momentum. Right now is a very, very good time. Later on, going to be a good time too. But if you think about it, or if you have a cash to spare, or if you have a equity lines, it's an amazing, amazing time to look for the property right now and negotiate the great deal. Elle, do you want to say something?
Yes, hi, everybody. My name's Al McGee. I'm a commissioner from a local town, and I came from a law enforcement family. So, you know, I've been in the business for several years, and I'd like to thank Ella. She did a phenomenal job on her presentation. I just want to give you a couple of quick briefs. So, you know, growing up in this business, I worked under a commissioner, and I also was a developer and a general contractor. So we went through the 80s. It was tough times, and everybody was afraid. Inflation was up, rates were sky high, market was, you know, at a standstill. So at the time, my dad had money in the stock market. I'll never forget this. He had a good amount of money in the stock market, and it was completely gone. And we're in the process of building some condos in Somerville and doing some development. He had a partner, some pretty similar to Ella, very, very smart, on the ball, and they joined forces. You know, it's funny how things end up, you know, years later. It's kind of almost like a mirror image. So the one thing that I remembered was that they diversified, they bought property, they held on to it, they rented it, and the rates were up at the time. And I, you know, I was just a young boy, you know, swinging a hammer, just watching all this, you know, play out. But, you know, it was funny. They were very smart because, you know, my old man always said to me, you make most of your money in bad times. And I would say to him, you know, that's kind of a crazy scenario. When things are bad, they're bad. Everybody's, you know, shuffling, hiding their money and hiding under the bed, obviously. But it made sense because you buy a piece of property and you diversify that property. Like if you're fortunate enough to buy a single, convert it to a two, convert a two to a three, and you hold on to this property. It's always a cycle. For one, the property is going to gain value, the market's going to escalate back up, and the rates, inflation are going to come down. In a couple of years down the road, you're going to be in extremely good shape. But remember, that investment is going to keep growing and growing and growing. Stock market and things of that nature are very uncertain in those type of times. And when money crashes in those type of markets and investments, it's very difficult to ever regain it back. So, and my old man always said two things that always came to mind. He said, you're never going to lose money in it. One is real estate and the undertaker. People got to live and they're going to die. And I used to think this was a crazy scenario, but I've been through this. I was through this in 2003. I saw it as a young boy in the 80s, you know, into the 90s. And no, I mean, real estate is a very secure investment because your money is in a piece of property. It's going to grow. It's always going to come back. And I feel it's very stable. And I think Ella does a wonderful job running our company. The company's run completely professional. I have the most highest faith in her. And I'm very glad that I was able to join forces with her. And, you know, in doing so, I mean, I've grown. I bought a single family. I converted it into a 2-family. She has it rented to nurses. I've been here for 1 year. I live on the ocean and I haven't paid a mortgage payment. It's unbelievable. It's really helped me a lot. I have a special needs child that costs a lot of money to take care of his needs. And this really, really helped me. This was on a personal level beside the business. She really, you know, she came through. And yeah, I just think that you folks really got to think about, you know, the investment in the future. I think you really should contact her and follow her steps, because, you know, I was very happy and lucky that I was able to join partners with her 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm living proof. Come see my property. Look at my unit downstairs. Look at everything I've done. And that's pretty much what I have to say. And you can contact us at any time. I do co-consulting. I can show you how to convert a single family to a 2-family, a 2-family to a 3-family. And those are probably the properties that you want to really gear towards. And also the housing market, along with these cities and towns now, there's such a shortage on housing. They're starting to get unique with ADUs, accessory structures, having people add units into their single family homes so they can not lose their houses. They can live, prosper, you know, forward. So that's pretty much what I have to say. And, you know, thank you, folks. And it was very nice to meet you all.
Okay, thank you, everyone. You know how to find me. And I'm looking forward to hear from you or help you in any way, even if you to map the plan, you know, even if it's not today, doesn't matter, you know, ask your questions. It's a road. It's all a journey. It's all journey. So, you know, put your head into it. If you're thinking about it, let's just start talking and map the way for the future. I'm here to help with anything and would be very happy. That's the most exciting thing to me, see the people getting financial independent in a cash flow. There is no more present. Thank you, everyone. I'll stop recording.